What is happening? We press pause. Eric looks impressed.
Wow. We leave for a while. We come back. There's music and
production
graphics.
quality.
Wow. Impressive.
I may have
Dang.
a half hour ago. I decided we should have intro, so I made one real quick. So
Wow.
there you go.
Good
there you
on
go.
you.
We press pause has pressed play, and we're back. So yeah, we have like official a way of doing this, right? So like, Eric, what's going on?
Hey man, I'm just happy to be here, and it's 8-0. We're back, and I'm just real excited.
That did not rhyme. It's 8-0. You're real excited. Okay.
Yep.
Fair.
Yep.
Perfect.
It's 8-0. I'm real excited. Maybe we'll bring back the hero. I don't know yet. It's a new era maybe.
Yeah. Okay. Crawler, what's going on?
Hey, how's it going? Crawler coming at you. Still here?
I feel like we do this every night.
It feels like it.
I think we podcast every night now. That's what's happening. So it's press pause. I put Samus on the thumbnail because I know it's a game we all played. We keep trying to talk about if there's any movies or shows we've all watched, but so far we've all struck out there. So I don't know, like, Eric, what's been happening over the last 9 months? Did you have a kid or something?
Oh, geez. Feels like it. No, as you all can probably see if you're watching us here, I'm in a new place, new background, and we finally got through the home build. We were selling the other house, which made it really hard for me to do any podcasting because selling your house when you work from home means you can't really show your house when you're at work because that means you get kicked out of your office. So we had to show our house on nights, which means I can't do anything fun at home. So long story short, it was a giant thing, but hey, we're settled. We're here. Let's do it.
Right on. So what next? What do we talk about now?
I know Eric's been playing PS5 stuff. I know I've been seeing him hop on Dread. So I know he's been gaming
talk
a little
about
bit.
that to start. Check this sweet baby out. This is, for those of you listening, a white Nintendo SWOLED. That's the official name. And it's I'm very excited for the upgrade because I had the version 1. If you had a version 2, I can't. I have a hard time saying if it's worth it or not. It really depends. I will say the screen real estate is more significant than I was expecting, just because it's so close to your face already when you play the Switch, and it was a small screen, so that little bit that you're getting with the OLED is pretty significant when it's right in front of you. So I had an Amazon pre-order, and then Amazon has this fatal flaw where you can't change pre-orders if you change your address. So the only way is to cancel it and reorder it. And obviously for a pre-order, that doesn't work. But luckily, you've heard me talk about it once or twice, but I walked into Fred Meyer. As I was walking in, I saw a gentleman leaving with a Switch OLED, and I was like, huh, okay. We got a chance here. And I went, and there were none on the shelf, and I asked the associate, I'm like, do you happen to have any more? Like, oh yeah, we got a ton in the back. It's only the white one though. It's like, let's get it.
It's only the white one. That's the one everybody wants.
Yeah.
Yep.
So that's the story. Fred Meyer for the win. Always check those smaller places that you can't do pre-orders there. There's no online shopping. So yeah.
Right now we have one viewer. And look at this, Victor. Hello, welcome.
Hey, Victor.
Glad you're here. So we're gonna start slow, but we're gonna build this thing. So I walked into GameStop on Friday, and was like, "Haha, do you guys have a OLED?" They're like, "Yeah, we have one white one." I was like, "Shut up, shut up." They're like,
"Hold on, did you buy another copy of Mario Kart with it?"
2. I bought 2.
He messaged me in Discord. He goes, now I just got to explain to the wife why I bought another $350 Switch. I was like, right off.
There's no explanation needed, right?
No, it worked out perfect because I had a $25 gift coupon at GameStop, so I was like, I can't let this go to waste. It wouldn't have gone to waste, but like can't let that go to waste. So
never.
But then we went up to Bellingham, found 2 packs of the Hello Kitty amiibo cards. But I didn't spot them at first because I was looking down at 3 white switches on the back, like not. You know how sometimes Targets have those end caps in the gaming area?
Well, yeah, they don't put. I don't think they put consoles there usually.
Not
they have the locked one. Some Targets have the lockable end cap.
They have a lockable end cap, but a lot of times I see shorter use stuff. Like they keep the consoles on the side.
Yeah, you would think, but no, they had 3 of them in this back end cap, and 1 in the in the normal spot for consoles.
The main case.
Yeah. 1, and they had 4 white ones. Here's what's funny. I picked up a Game Boy, like old school, like the brick, right? Has an immaculate screen, had a box still. At Reset Games, they had a white OLED that they were selling for $436.
How does that math work out?
Well, when you're essentially a video game pawn shop, you can get your wholesale stuff and raise the price if you want.
I guess.
So
shady. That's shady.
Perpetrating a problem.
Yeah. They're just professional scalpers.
Well, did anybody get a mini fridge?
No.
God, that was such a joke. Scalpers are such a pain in the ass. They're selling them for $500 on eBay right now, even after Aaron Gruberg went on Twitter and said, don't worry, the majority of the stock is going to be in person, in brick and mortar for you to get in December. So they still haven't given us a release date, but like I had told my wife about that, and I was like, I want this. It's $100. She's like, she had the red card. She has the red card in her name or whatever. And she's like, just tell me what I need to do. And then like 8:30 came and went on, what was that? Was that yesterday morning? Wednesday?
Yeah, I think so.
And I hadn't seen the Xbox tweet, and I had seen the Wario 64 tweet about 4 or 5 minutes too late. But it didn't matter because the comments were like, I had it in my cart and I went to go check out and it was already gone. So the bots just can check out exponentially faster than humans can even if you're pre-loaded into your account on Target and credit cards are saved, address is saved, and you just got to click through. You can't do it. It's damn near impossible.
Yeah. That's a shame.
So that's been shame. 2020, 2021 in a nutshell when it comes to anything collectible.
It's not even collectible things. It's anything now. Like there's just this artificial scarcity to every item. Remember back in the good old days of just going to a store and buying something? Like that doesn't exist anymore. You have to camp out for everything.
Jen was telling me she was walking into Target and watching somebody walk out with a PS5. I was like, what?
When I picked up Dread last week, I saw a dude walk out with a PS5. I think it was probably from the drop that came. I think there was a drop that had come earlier in the week. Because even when I was able to secure a PS5 last year, I think, or early this year, I don't remember when it was. I think it was January. I got it on the website, and then it took another week or so for it to make its way to it wasn't a shipping option. It had to be a in-store pickup,
right?
But it came from whatever distribution center to my Best Buy, and I had to go pick it up. So I mean, those drops come periodically, and then they work on the supply chain to get it where it needs to go.
Speaking of PS5, God of War coming to PC.
Oh man, I'm so pissed. My game on PlayStation now, everyone can enjoy it.
How dare they?
Damn you, PlayStation.
What are they thinking? They need to repackage, and first of all, they need to give me a refund because it's not an exclusive anymore. I think it's awesome. You know, Destinot in the Discord earlier was like, "Oh, maybe I'll play it." I'm sure he's just joking, and he has no interest in playing it. But I think it's great that people who don't have a PS5 are gonna be able to play. It's a fantastic game. You know, I slept on it for a long time, just because I wasn't a fan of old man Kratos, and you know, it's a slow burn. So the beginning of it starts really slow, but man, that's a great game. Great, fantastic game.
Yeah.
I still can't play it on my Mac.
You can boot
partition
into
your
Windows.
hard drive.
Yeah.
Yeah, you just gotta
I can
partition your hard
partition.
drive.
That's true. That's
Yeah.
true.
I don't know how lightweight Windows 11 is, but I'm sure you can get it going.
Yeah, it's probably true.
I think I have to go into my BIOS and flip a switch or something for my motherboard to even. I'm not quote unquote eligible for 11 right now. I need to check some. I'm sure my motherboard is probably okay. I just got to turn off or turn on something in the BIOS to be able to upgrade.
Got it.
I'm going to backtrack a little bit, but the Switch OLED, the screen, makes me want to play handheld. I mean, I finished Bowser's Fury last night in bed, and started playing Luigi's Mansion again.
Yeah.
Like, it's just all of a sudden I'm finding myself wanting to play handheld. It's just, I don't know. It's got me excited about the system again, which is cool, because it's kind of been a little bit of a lackluster year for me when it came to the Switch. So
I agree. My old Switch, I hadn't played in all of. What year are we in? Is this still 2021? I don't think I played it at all this year. And outside of one trip I went on, I took it and played, I think, Pikmin 4. Or 3.
I was gonna say living in the
Future?
future.
I'm
I was
sorry,
thinking for a
everyone.
second. I was like, which one came
wait.
out?
We're still
you're
waiting
living in
for
the future you want, not the present you
yeah,
have.
Yeah, exactly.
Did you pick up golf, Eric?
I didn't, not yet, and that's how low I've been on my Switch, because I just like, I don't think I'd play it. But to Josh's point, I've got the dock set up. I've got a fantastic brand new LG 77-inch OLED right next to me, and I just want to play handheld. Like, and I understand that, you know, it's a bigger real estate and it might even look better on the LG, but it looks so fantastic. This screen is so fantastic. And you know, a really small thing they upgraded that people don't talk about, not just the kickstand, but the speakers. They're way better. Like, I don't have to
they
play.
moved them too, right?
Yeah.
Didn't they move where they?
They're now
actually are?
front firing, and you don't have to play with headphones. Like, it sounds pretty decent. I mean, it's definitely an upgrade. So I'm back interested in my Switch. This has taken me away from my PS5 for the first time in a while.
So have you been playing Deathloop then? Did you pick that one up?
I picked it. Yeah, I picked it up. So here's what I do, and it's a flaw in myself. But
you buy things and don't play them.
Well, that
Welcome
too,
to the club.
But no, that's not the flaw. The flaw is I start like 4 games at the same time, and then just kind of see which one will stick. So I started Deathloop. I started Horizon Zero Dawn, which was actually getting pretty fun. I take back a lot of the mean things I said about it, everybody. It is not Horizon Zero fun. That game, there is fun to be had. Then I started playing Death Stranding, and then now Dread. But Death Stranding kind of took me away from Deathloop. And then I made it pretty far in that. I'm going to beat that. Like, I'm super intrigued with it. But I feel like I'll be able to beat Dread pretty quickly, and then jump back into Death Stranding, and then circle back to Deathloop.
I was gonna say I put pretty much 100% of my focus into Dread for a week. I think I beat it last Wednesday or Thursday, so it took me about a week. I got lost for a little bit at the end. Ended up collecting a bunch of the power-ups and stuff, so I was super powerful kind of going into the last fight. But the last fight took me. I took it in like bite-sized little pieces. I didn't bang my head against the wall for too long. Like 2 separate nights, we had different shows and stuff that prevented me, I think, from playing as much as I would want to on some of those nights. But Josh and I would just be playing Dread and be in a call together on Discord, just kind of talking it out. And he and I both been playing Smash a lot more with Sora and some of the other stuff. But like, just being in the call, talking about stuff, Josh found his way into some place that I hadn't even found after I had beat the game. And he and I were sharing each other's, we were comparing maps and stuff through Discord and just talking about the game. And it's just that incredible.
That's fun. I mean, that game's been kicking my ass in so many ways. It makes me realize like I'm just not the gamer I used to be. You know, a lot of things kill me, and it's not just the fake T1000 Emmys. You know, the bosses are challenging, but yeah, I get stuck a lot, and it's constantly like I won't give away the story or the power-ups too much, but man, thank you for that pulse ability, because that has saved me now from there's so much. Like, my advice to you, if you're gonna pick this game up and you're playing for the first time, shoot everything, shoot every wall
That's
with
yep,
every
that's the
type of ammo. It's I've been stuck a lot, and the maps are not small, so you're just like running around like, what can I possibly do next? I've killed the Emmys that are available. Like, I'm just running around looking for anything now.
Yeah, it feels like you get soft locked, but you're definitely not.
Yeah,
you just gotta shoot stuff.
At one point, I was convinced, because like Nintendo sent out that thing saying, "Hey, you know, there's a bug where you can't progress." I was like, "Yep, that happened to me, clearly." Like, and no, I just didn't know how to progress. But yeah, it's not easy. It's not a cakewalk.
I need to check that bug and see if that's where I got stuck, but was able to figure out a way out.
Maybe. Yeah, I didn't read much into it, other than they said it was a thing and they're working on fixing it.
Because I could not find a conventional way to get out of work in progress. Like, there's construction happening in Eric's house right now.
Yeah, we're having a closet built.
So, but yeah, I was stuck. And when I explained to Crawler how I got out of there, he was like, how did what?
Yeah, that was where you went into an area I hadn't even been to.
Yeah.
And then you found an ability that you're supposed to get a decent amount later. I felt.
Oh. Yeah. Interesting.
So I want to check their I want to check out that whole bug thing and see if I ended up finding it and then figured out a way out of it, because it was I could not find a conventional way. I had scanned everything. I happened to find a block on a wall that if I jumped, hit R, I would turn into the ball, hit the bomb, blow it up, hit the water, jump back up, and was able to grab it and then roll and get in. And
right before the block probably closed.
Right before the block closed behind me. Yeah, it was like, there's no way this is the way they intended it. There's no way.
Was that about halfway maybe, or no?
It was literally right after I got the scanner.
Okay.
Yeah.
I mean, I've been stuck a lot, so it's hard for me to know.
I think when everybody gets to the second or the third section of the map, I think a lot of people run into, you're locked into like two different rooms, and if you can't figure it out, you got to shoot the floor or something like that. But I think that's where a lot of people are like, I'm stuck and I don't know what to do.
I got stuck there for sure.
I got stuck there for you just a little bit, and then you just
mine wasn't.
Got to remember it's Metroid. You
hours.
Shoot everything.
Casey in the chat says it's finally back. Hell yeah, it is. And so the verdict on the OLED is that it's worth the upgrade from the original if you play handheld pretty often. I would say yes. And part of that depends on what you want to do with the other Switch. I mean, I know GameStop was offering a ton of money for the OG Switch, even the V1. So that might be something you're interested in. But if you're not even interested in that aspect and you want to, that's fine. But I think the additional real estate, just the percentage of the upgrade, the size, it's pretty significant. And when it's up in front of your face, you know, the extra contrast, even though they didn't boost the resolution, it's such a small screen that, you know, 4K on this screen would be a buzzword anyways. So
it's already in the dock anyway. They just have to unlock it.
Yeah. I saw that, but doesn't matter. Doesn't matter. But yeah, I think. I mean, Josh, what do you think? You're happy with it?
Midfight Senpai says that background, the intro to X-Files, Fight for the Future, it might be. The final verdict for the OLED for me is like it put it this way. I bought the Lite to specifically play handheld. I'm playing the OLED.
Yeah.
Like,
oh yeah.
There's just no going back. And
When you were talking about a black loading screen last night when you were playing in bed in pitch black, it threw your room into complete darkness. You said,
yeah, in Bowser's Fury, there's only these tiny little sprites on the loading screen down in the corner,
Mhm.
and especially if it's Bowser, he's like mostly charcoal colored, like complete pitch black. Like it was like the switch was turned off. I was just like, there was no gray hue,
Yeah.
from that.
Can we
backlight
talk about that?
through. Yeah, please.
Nintendo needs to fix something.
Oh, okay.
The background for the Switch is called black, but it's gray. If they made it black, it would look so slick on the OLED. If they gave us an OLED, background for the Switch that was actually black and just had all those icons pop, it would look so much better.
It would.
That's
I agree.
all. I've been annoyed by that. I'm like, this isn't black.
There's another question in chat from Victor says, what do you guys think is going to happen in Breath of the Wild 2?
Yeah, I don't know. I hope dungeons.
That's kind of half confirmed, isn't it? I mean,
nothing's confirmed.
True,
but in the initial
that announcement
teasers,
trailer, yeah,
it looks like there's dungeons. I just don't know if that's going to be like the depths of Hyrule Castle again or something. I don't want to set myself up to be hurt again.
Yeah, I need to actually play through Skyward Sword so I have that background, because I do think we got Skyward Sword for a reason, and I think Skyloft is going to be part of Breath of the Wild 2, especially based on that second trailer.
I lied to y'all. I did play my Switch, my OG Switch. I was playing Skyward Sword.
I could tell. I could see when your eyes were lying.
Lying. Yeah, I was playing Skyward Sword, which was fantastic, but then I just got busy with the move, so I'll probably be playing that. We're going to the beach tomorrow night, so I'll probably be playing that out at the coast. But yeah, so playing Skyward Sword really made me realize, like, that game has some jank to it with the controls. We all recognize that, but it made me realize how good of a Zelda game it is, and how bad of a Zelda game Breath of the Wild truly is. Like, Breath of the Wild's fantastic, one of the best games ever made, but it's not a great Zelda game. I'm doing air quotes because, there's certain things you expect from Zelda, and I think the big part of that is they got rid of the linear nature of the progression of the game in Breath of the Wild, which meant there were no dungeons, which meant the power-ups didn't necessarily play as big of a role as they do in traditional Zeldas. So
I'm trying to remember. I think I did for Breath of the Wild. I think I did Zora's Domain, and then I went up to Rivali's area, and then Urbosa, and then Death Mountain, I think, is how I did it for the Divine Beast. But like it doesn't really matter, because it's just either you get a second life, which is important for kind of early game, I guess, if you go to Zora's Domain for the first one. But then it's just traversal for Rivali's Gale. Urbosa's, you're just more powerful with the lightning strike, and then Daruk is protection. So I mean, none of them are game breaking or defining of how you kind of progress.
It's not a slingshot. It's not a
hook shot. It's not a boomerang where you need it to be able to flip a switch to get through and that's a positive and a negative, because it's like on a Zelda dungeon you get something and it's a telling feature of how you're going to fight that boss or defeat a puzzle, which I like the open-endedness of Breath of the Wild when it came to some of the puzzle solving, but you kind of do miss that traditional puzzle solving of a dungeon.
That's what I missed. And I'm not one to complain about a linear story. I know some people like the open world more, but I think it's harder to tell a story in an open world. I think they did a very good job in Breath of the Wild ultimately, but it's harder to tell a story with a completely open world, right? Like, a story is, you're going to lead people to a specific end. and it's harder to do that if it's completely open.
And yeah, there's places on that map people have never touched.
Yeah. Do you remember those choose your own adventure books that we all had as kids?
Flip to different pages. Yeah.
Yeah. And then when you flip to a bad page, you're like, no, I didn't do that. Let me go back.
Reset.
But even those were fairly linear, right? It's not really choose your own adventure. They marketed it that, but I growing up on that, that's what I think maybe that's what I'm missing from Breath of the Wild, and I hope they bring back into.
Yeah, didn't Netflix try that with Black Mirror or something like that?
They have a few shows that are like that, or series or whatever. I haven't watched any of them.
I haven't watched it either.
But some of them got okay reviews, I guess. I know, yeah, Black Mirror had one, and there's a couple of horror ones or something too. Maybe Black Mirror is horror, I don't know. It's kind of like horror sci-fi.
So if Breath of the Wild had dungeons, do you think it would need, like, let's define the dungeons. Does it need to have a specific item in order to be a Zelda dungeon, like to beat the boss? Or if you were just having to explore, find the map, find the keys, go into the doors, like, would that have scratched that itch for you? Would that have satisfied the desire for dungeons within Zelda?
Probably for me. I guess if there's still kind of a puzzly nature to them, I felt like the Divine Beast was their attempt at dungeons, but the puzzles weren't so much. I don't know. They weren't all that interesting. It was like move the parts of the Divine Beast to make it orient in a way that you can get to the thing. Like the first one you do, that was kind of cool, right? Whatever one you choose to do first, the first time you do that, you're like, oh, this is cool. But then the second, third, and fourth, you're like, okay, I already know what to expect going into these. So it would have been cool if they did something different for each one of those.
Or a unique like Sheikah Slate ability or something like that.
Yeah,
they could have built upon that. That could have been how they drove you linear through something. Is if instead of, because I even forget how the Sheikah Slate, all those abilities unlock. Is it kind of almost right off the bat? Magnesis for the Divine... and Frozen and all that kind of stuff.
I mean, you get those all on
the plateau, right?
Plateau, yeah, and then you run out to the world with your
If they could have added some more stuff to the Sheikah Slate, that could have been a way to drive you linearly, like more in a straight path, Divine Beast to Divine Beast, maybe. But
I think the Divine Beasts are the biggest disappointment.
Yeah.
Right?
Well,
because
it was the final boss was the biggest disappointment, let's be real.
Well, and all the bosses, because they were all just variants of the same thing that was like, there's no variety here. Where's the classic bosses? Like those Divine Beasts were so huge, we could have been exploring from top to bottom or bottom to top and still fought a boss inside that was messing with things. Versus
the variation became the arena that you fought in versus the boss, pretty much.
Right.
Yeah, and I think that's where some of the it's so hard because Breath of the Wild is phenomenal.
Yeah,
I mean,
it's a perfect 10, right? Like it's a great masterpiece.
It's but when you and so it feels weird to say
this is where it lacks.
Yeah. And it only lacks in the realm of Zelda. If you called this game Legend of Arthur,
Legend of Link,
no, you got to get out of the lore completely. If this is a random game about Arthur and he's trying to save, Queen Gwen, like it would have been
Gwen.
It would have been a fantastic, no one would have questioned it, but because it's a Zelda game, traditionally that comes with certain expectations, and it still delivered. The game's great. The music's fantastic. Like the art style is just phenomenal. It's a perfect game.
I know where it is. I know where the disappointment lies with the bosses. The moment I saw the dragon flying in the air, do you guys remember that moment the first time?
It was
and you
terrifying.
were like, you were like, yo, that's huge.
Yeah, I don't know why, but I have to shoot this.
And what else am I going to encounter in this game now?
Yeah, when you
And
shot it, you're worried
then-
that it's gonna come attack
I
you.
thought it was gonna ruin
Yeah.
me.
But then when we didn't fight anything similar to it,
Yeah.
that's I think where the disappointment lied, because you're just like, what are these blights? They're kind of just boring, and they're just weird
Yeah.
variants of themselves, and they're not. It's
They
like
weren't that challenging. A Lionel's infinitely more challenging than any of the blights.
right.
Like I still think I've killed less Lionels than blights.
Same. Yeah.
Yeah.
I
Nate
mean-
Nate says The Legend of Jessica could have been the
Yeah,
title. So
Exactly. And then it would have
just getting
been
that out
perfect.
there.
I mean, even the hardest part, I feel like, is navigating the path up to Hyrule Castle. But even that can be circumnavigated by going up the backside of the castle, and you avoid a lot of those guardians that
Yeah.
would shoot you on sight. So I mean, there's ways around. It is truly an open-ended game, because
Yeah,
it's
you can beat it
it's-
without doing any of the divine beasts. You can just march right up with your 3 hearts and beat the game. You don't even need the master sword, which is just kind of odd. It just feels a little weird. I'm not good enough to do that, but I've watched YouTube videos of people doing it. So
At the same time, I'm glad that they didn't go with like the Link Between Worlds, where you could go and rent all of your items,
right.
and then that kind of felt like almost like a cop out in a way, but it was like
it made it baby mode kind of.
they were
Yeah.
trying to make it more accessible, I guess, which I mean, it's fine for the younger audience that wants to, but I mean, Legend of Zelda was not accessible. It was like
It's hard.
which I'm kind of glad they didn't pull punches when it comes to Dread. Like,
right.
you see that game over screen a lot in that game.
Oh yeah, yeah, you do.
and
And what's most annoying is when you game over in front of a boss and you have to like backtrack a little bit to get back to the boss and skip the video again. It's like, and it just makes you madder and madder each time.
it's easy compared to Hollow Knight.
Well, but yeah, I think, to circle back and talk Breath of the Wild, I think, looking at the first time you fought a Cyclops, and, that was a big, scary guy, and those moments stand out more to me than any of the bosses in that game, which is there's still a few Lionels in that game that if I see them, I will turn and go the other way.
Right.
Yeah.
And
Well, I think the other thing too, when we talk about Legend of Zelda bosses, we're used to seeing the same ones, right? But we get to see the way they evolve as the systems have evolved, as the graphics have gotten better, and then we didn't get any of that in Breath of the Wild, right? We got to see all of the other creatures that we've been seeing for years, like how they look, like from going from the 2D sprite to the 3D, I mean, and even progressing from what they did in Ocarina of Time and all that stuff. I think that's part of the excitement with the Legend of Zelda, is like, what's the dragon? I know they have like Dodongo, or I think is one of his names or something like that. He's kind of like that lizard. It was always interesting. Like if you go back and look at that boss on the Super Nintendo, and then the way you fought him in Ocarina of Time, it was like, oh, how are they going to change it? Like they were always kind of these epic. The bosses were never all that difficult once you learned the pattern and realized you had the right weapon. You were good to go. But
they were still cool.
It
And
even
they were still
highlights
like
it.
epic, right?
Yeah, and it even highlights it red for you half the time.
Yeah.
Shoot here.
Yeah.
Shoot the glowing spot, right? Yeah.
I will say, like, there were some glimpses in Breath of the Wild for like scratching that itch for good dungeon type stuff. There was, I think it was maybe part of the DLC, that maze to like the northeastern or northwestern part of the map, kind of offshore. It was like its own island, but it was a big maze.
I don't think that was DLC. That's just baked in, isn't it?
I believe it is. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. It's hard to sometimes differentiate.
I don't think I ever figured. I think there's still I think I still have a what are the towers or whatever the.
Oh really? You haven't synchronized one of the towers there?
I think not a tower. It's not the tower. All those I can't. The shrines. There we
Shrines?
go. Yeah,
Yeah.
it was.
Yeah.
There's still a shrine in there that I'm like, I don't know where to go.
Oh yeah, yeah, there is one.
I'm still missing at least 20 some odd shrines probably because
Yeah.
they're it's a lot of work if you want to pull up a map and try to figure out where they are. And I think any of the like out in the open discoverable shrines I've found, all the ones that are remaining are the ones that are tucked. Like there was one you had to like blow up a rock and find it hidden inside. Like there's all sorts of puzzles out in the world that you have to know how to go find and trigger to be able to go find. So I mean that's kind of what's remaining for me. But like one of the I think outstanding 2 shrines is the twins shrines up on top of the mountain, where the answer to the other shrine, the inverse answers are in each shrine to answer the
Right.
to get to the whatever the unlock. I forget, what do you even get at the end of shrines?
Respect.
The orbs, the spirit orb,
That's right.
and then you turn that into hearts or stamina.
Yeah, at the prayer spots or whatever.
Mhm. Yeah.
Now I'm excited for Breath of the Wild too.
Yeah, me too. I mean, and that was a selling point to getting the OLED. Is like, well, eventually they're going to release Breath of the Wild 2, and part of my thought was if I buy the OLED, they'll definitely be making a Switch Pro soon, and so I thought I would help it along.
You're just doing your due diligence to help everybody out there.
Just doing my part, everybody.
Are you
Surprised they haven't
upgrading
announced
your Nintendo Switch Online?
Oh yeah. I got the I got to get my Ocarina of Time upgrade. So that's all I'm doing it for. That's it. But I have my N64
we can play Star
controller.
Fox together online now.
I don't want to play Star Fox again. Have you gone back to it? It's not good. It aged very poorly.
I bet 64 aged better than Star Fox 2 though.
Not much.
Not much, but
not
some.
much. Maybe, I don't know. We'll see. Play it.
I'm crossing my fingers for Wave Race. I'm hoping Wave Race makes it.
Yeah, that would be awesome. And there's Diddy Kong Racing. Like, come on, man, bring it.
Yeah,
bring it. And then
it's
then
very possible. Very possible.
And then obviously, is the moment they do GoldenEye, I'll be getting 3 more controllers.
That may be the reason it's so expensive is GoldenEye, because they had to pay like 15 different people for the licensing.
If they would have just said that, then we could have stomached the price. I don't think you guys are upset about the price necessarily. Here's my big concern with the price. They're now as expensive as Xbox Live and PS Plus, essentially. I think they're, $10 cheaper?
Mm-hmm.
But they offer games that are 6,000 years old, whereas those 2 services are giving you games with gold and the PS Plus games. So Nintendo really needs to consider throwing Switch titles on a monthly cadence as well if they're going to be priced the same. They don't offer voice chat. They don't offer any chat system. You can't have real friends on your Switch. So they can't offer the same price as the other consoles. I'm obviously an idiot and paying for it anyways, but don't be like me.
Well, Josh and I made a video last night about this, and the Nintendo announcement trailer is sitting at, I'm sure it's higher now. It was at 80,000 down dislikes on YouTube as of
I'm
yesterday.
sure of those 80,000, like 50,000 of them have already pre-ordered the N64 controllers and are getting it.
Exactly, because even 2 or 3 days ago, it was like I saw news articles being written about how upset the Nintendo community is about the pricing for the expansion pack, and then in the same Flipboard scroll through I was doing, it was like, quick, buy your N64 controllers. They're selling out quick. So you can't full on hate something, but then still support.
They're just buying those controllers for Mario Party at the end of this month.
No, man, you're buying the controller so you can resell it for $600. That's how the world works now.
Yeah.
But
they didn't get my $50 for the 3-button garbage that they're trying to sell though.
I'm not. I don't care about the Genesis games hardly at all right now, but we'll see. Because I have the Genesis Classics package.
I
or
do
whatever
too.
that
I think
has
all three of
those-
us do.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So
in the package with 2
yeah.
extra 6-button controllers, still in the package,
Right.
and the
So-
Sega Genesis collection
I-
on my
no.
Switch.
Yeah,
I have
that-
I have the Genesis Mini. I have the Genesis collection on Switch. Yeah.
So, but that's my biggest issue, and I think I think it's fair to voice your displeasure with something and still support it in a way. Let them know like this isn't what we want as consumers, but you don't have to. Voting with your wallet's obviously a way to do it, but I think you can also be heard and not miss out to some degree.
Okay, so you don't really play Animal Crossing, right? So there's no extra value for you in that DLC.
None at all. Yeah.
But I mean, if it was Mario Kart DLC, would that be any extra value for you?
Probably. So for me, probably not, because I'm not. I think I've bought one DLC and it was the Breath of the Wild content, and
burned you.
all I got out of that was the T-shirt, and I didn't play any of the extra levels, or extra content. So it's like
I thought that boss fight was one of the best fights in that game. Like
Maybe
the end of the
I never-
DLC was really rewarding.
yeah, I just never. Are you talking about through the trials of
For-
whatever
No.
to get the bike?
Yeah, to get the bike.
Yeah, I never got the bike, so I don't. Yeah. People seemed really happy with it, but that's part of my problem. Like, there's so many games out. The odds of me playing a game long enough to make it to the need to have DLC, like, I'm already moving on most of the time. Like, my backlog is so large, like, I don't have time to play a game from open to close, let alone DLC. Like, you basically get 20 minutes with me before I move on. So DLC for me probably not gonna motivate me much, but I just I'm not so upset that I'm not gonna buy it. I'm gonna get my N64 games. I'm gonna get Ocarina of Time and eventually Majora's Mask, and that's gonna work for me. But I would like for them to be a little more in line with their cousins, right? Like, I think Sony and Xbox have a pretty healthy relationship as far as, like, they know what each other are doing, and they're also, they've got a little healthy competition too, so it's good for the consumers. We're getting a lot of free content. Like, the PS Plus games are fantastic every month.
Sometimes.
Games with gold, well, most of the times. I mean, I haven't been upset at many of them. People were upset when they had the WWE one that was in there. Was that last month? Most of the times they're pretty decent, and they were once $60 titles, so on and so forth. And same with games with gold. And then you talk about Game Pass as a whole other thing. So I just think Nintendo needs to get with it.
Nintendo is standing with its chest puffed, and
we're buying it anyways.
They just this last month got dethroned as longest selling console.
Yeah,
like PlayStation just took that title from them.
Yeah, but now the OLED's out, so they'll get it back.
But wait,
They'll get it
when you
just
say
waiting.
dethroned, don't you mean it just finally outsold
Or
them
the-
1 month?
Well,
Yeah.
no, the streak ended. Yeah.
Yeah. So even still, like, they're just like, yeah, now beat our streak, right?
Yeah.
Like,
Well,
there's-
because they're starting a new streak this month. So
yeah,
and we get financials here in like a week and a half.
exactly. Yeah, and I mean, the reason I bring up the DLC is because, and I've said this on other shows and videos and stuff, I think the attach rate to Nintendo Switch Online and Animal Crossing is so significant that they're like, this is going to add a ton of value to a ton of people. And
Or this is going to sell a ton of subscription upgrades to a ton of people. Because
it's-
they're a business, and let's be real here. They're
But
not looking to add value. They're
In the
looking to
long
make
run,
money.
it's saving Josh money because he doesn't have to buy
Right,
the
yeah,
DLC.
but I don't think
four
Nintendo-
times.
Cares about that. They care about selling you on their subscription service upgrade because it comes with the game you play. Right? Like, at the end of the day, they're business. I get it. They have people they have to make happy. They have mouths to feed, and so on and so forth. So yeah, it's a smart play for them. How many copies of Animal Crossing are out in the wild? Did they
32 million plus. And
it'll
it's gonna
probably be
higher here in a
35 or
little bit.
more at these next financials, I'm guessing. So
assuming 20 million of those players still play, let's say 10 million are still playing and excited for that DLC. all those 10 million are going to probably be getting the upgrade. That's pretty substantial.
Yeah. Nate says, I really hope Nintendo drip feeds more games more consistently. We will see before I take we will see before I take the dive. And
Yeah.
I think that's what I think they literally showcased that. I think they showed us that, yes, here's the games that you're getting. Here's more games that are coming out. They obviously had to so they had to pay somebody for the rare stuff. Microsoft had to get, there had to be some exchange of dollars somewhere.
Yeah.
So
and even though it's not super talked about, they had to pay Sega a decent amount of money as well.
potentially, yeah, Sega might have just been begging, please,
Somebody care again.
yeah, help us keep the lights on.
Sega actually doesn't need that much money. The Yakuza stuff is doing pretty well,
Yeah.
making them a decent amount of money.
Nate says Josh hates Sonic almost as much as Luigi.
Come on, man. Don't hate the bigger brother.
I don't hate. I was playing Luigi's Mansion, man. The way he like freaks out at stuff, like
Yeah, it's
that,
fantastic.
That game is phenomenal, and it looks great.
He'll
in
whistle
handheld.
the theme music. I need to go back to it and play it on the OLED now. I bet the darks of that game are just fantastic.
They are, yeah, they are.
The lighting and yeah.
Well, I think when it comes to like the drip feed that we're gonna get, I think Nintendo's tone deaf on some things, but I think people have been loud enough about how shit the games are for NES and Super NES that have been trickling out.
Let's
since.
talk about that. Where's Earthbound? Like, I just don't understand. Is that not a first party game? Is that locked up behind some crazy legal thing that I don't understand? Why is that not on the damn?
It was on the SNES Classic, right?
Right.
Mm-hmm.
And
Yeah.
I think I don't think anybody agrees with me, but I think Nintendo's going to double down on Earthbound, and we might see like the trilogy. And now I know there's issues like with the third game that are like.
But they localize Fire Emblem after 35
it's
years.
Not the localization, but there are just
it's the parameters of the speech bubbles and being able to fit English in it, I think, is part of the problem.
And just cultural stuff that's no longer appropriate. So
I mean, that's true of a lot of things. Go back and watch The Office.
Are you taking care of that, Josh?
It's gone, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, go back and watch season 1 of The Office now, and it's just kind of like, ooh, But
Casey in chat says, "Yep, I think back fondly to finishing games as a kid and getting that satisfaction." I believe that was tied to something, something we were talking about earlier. Just probably these older games, I'm guessing. So, Nate says, "The more games coming out will be October 25th, 2022." I'll get to Vince's comment here as well. It says, "I'm feeding the Nintendo subscription model after getting the OLED. I upgraded to the family account. I do wish other systems would offer a family account, though."
Xbox does.
Kind of.
Not for Ultimate.
Well, not for Ultimate, but like for Xbox Live, quote unquote.
Yeah. I
and
just wish they would do
game
it for
sharing's
Ultimate.
a thing ish. So if you pick somebody that you trust, you can.
Yeah. And you can,
Ultimate would have been nice though, because then
you can do that with
kids could all play
PlayStation
it.
too. But it's not like Nintendo where you can do. How many can you do on the Nintendo plans? At 4?
8
Up
now.
to 8 now.
8.
Yeah.
So
It was 7.
that's
Now it's
pretty-
8. But here's the thing: we're talking about these shitty Nintendo games and SNES games.
Yeah.
This extra money going in could potentially bring Ninja Turtles. Like if they're throwing money at Banjo and Rare and Microsoft, maybe that's what we're going to start seeing. Maybe they're going to start cutting some checks to really, because I mean, I was just in Reset Games looking at Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, the arcade game in the box, $99. The Manhattan Project in the box. Like it's cool seeing these relics and these artifacts really, but to be able just to, if we could fire up the Ninja Turtles arcade game and play through it together, game over. Like that's,
I know.
That doesn't still work on Xbox Live, does it?
The original arcade game does.
The 89 arcade does
but
work
you have
if
to
you
have
have it
already
if you have
owned
it
it.
downloaded.
Yeah, you'd have to already own it. So,
Well,
but-
it's not even own it, right? It's you have to have it. You can't read. Can you re-download?
you can
it?
re-download it. You have to go
Okay.
into your history, which can take a while depending on how much you bought, and
And
you
it-
can,
locked onto the 360. I can't get it on my One or
can't get it on your one.
Series X. Yeah.
No. So, yeah, but so maybe that will. That's the thing. Nintendo may have shot themselves in the foot a little bit, only showcasing Animal Crossing and showing only like 64 games are not like the majority of them are not going to cost them anything. Obviously,
Yeah.
the rare games are going to cost them something.
Mhm.
If we get like, and hopefully it's a like, I'm willing to bet before the end of the year we find out more about Nintendo Switch Online and what. But Nintendo's been so careful with their pacing on everything lately.
Mhm.
It's
Yeah.
like they do a direct and they're like,
They
Sora
give you the
is
window.
such big news that they're like, we're not talking about Sora here because that will screw the
It
rest of the
overshadowed it.
direct. They said Animal Crossing is getting its own direct because if we talk about any of that news, it's going to screw nobody's going to know what else is coming out in this direct. And
Yeah.
so they've been pretty careful with their pacing, but yeah, I mean,
I feel like you say that, and then I feel like they had laid out like Smash coming next week, and we got a date. We didn't get a date for Animal Crossing, which we got like the day after the Sora announcement, and then they snuck in. And the third part of that original direct was more information on expansion pack coming soon,
Right.
and then they completely shit the bed on that and just snuck it into a still screen on the Animal Crossing thing. And I don't know what the downvotes or the dislikes are on the Animal Crossing live stream, but I feel like it probably tainted that and then bled over to that 3.5 minute video or whatever announcing more details on the expansion pack, whereas they probably could have given a date for expansion pack or given a parameter on pricing with more hidden, be more forefront about it, and then make it be better during the Animal Crossing direct. I feel like they set up a cadence and then they fumbled it at the end.
So,
but I think they also knew exactly where the eyes were going to be at that moment.
yeah.
All
Yeah.
eyes were
Oh, yeah.
on Animal Crossing, and the news was that you're going to get the DLC for just upgrading your subscription.
True.
I mean,
Yeah.
that
And the people watching that direct were there for Animal Crossing, so that was a happy day for them, right? Like
yeah,
I didn't watch. I watched some of the Animal Crossing direct, but I mainly skimmed through it.
And I mean,
Because-
the DLC being packed into expansion pack is got me wanting to play it. Versus, I don't know if I would have pulled the trigger on a $25 expansion on a game that I spent a decent amount of time on, but that I haven't gone back to in a while.
Yeah.
It is getting me to re-engage, and which
That's great.
is good. But it's also something I was planning on purchasing already when it comes to the expansion pack, but maybe not necessarily the Animal Crossing update.
I'm never going back. My island is good and dead. It's stuck in the cloud. It'll never come back, and that's just how that's going to be. I'm not starting over. But
Nate says he's wondering how the N64 controls will bind to the Pro controller if you don't have the N64.
let's
ones.
talk about that. A couple things really quick.
I had a question
Smash-
about this too, because
Smash players are going to be happy with the N64 controllers, right? Some of the purists, but I'm really annoyed.
Smash isn't confirmed. Smash isn't in that list.
It
No,
will be.
but you can play just like you can control the console with the regular control, the NES and the SNES. You should be able to play it as a controller, so you should be able to play Smash with it, right?
You're talking about playing Ultimate with it.
Yes,
That would be interesting.
you should be able to. I know
no.
this is-
There's not two sticks. Get that out of here.
But
No.
I mean,
Play without two
the
sticks.
C buttons will do what
Yeah.
the stick does, but
I don't know
that'll
if
be
you can
interesting.
remap though, so you have to see. This is gonna sound crazy, but I'm kind of mad they didn't sell me an option to put a Rumble pack in the controller because that's how I remember it as a kid, and that's how I want it again. And
Yeah.
I
You wanted
can't.
that back weight on it.
Yeah, now it's gonna feel weird. It's just not. It's not gonna be right when I eventually get GoldenEye. It's not gonna be right, and it's gonna have Rumble built in. That's weird.
Just
That's just
weird.
odd. It's just
Nate says
not.
he'd love to play handheld at some point. So, the he was hoping they would have the split 64 controller. So
No,
each
man,
side.
on the top. So you got, where's the camera? You get two of them. I don't know how you put.
They gotta bring.
How
They
you
gotta
get your
bring
hands around it.
They gotta. Oh, you know what? You know what would be the coolest little Easter egg because it's already on the system. I'd have to go buy another controller for this now. Did you guys both have pod racing on 64? The
Yeah.
episode 1 racer.
Yeah.
So if you plugged two controllers into port 1 and port 3, there was a cheat code. I don't know if it was a cheat code or if it just automatically did it, but you could control like Anakin does with two throttles. You could hold both controllers with your thumbs, and double forward was forward. Pull back and forward was right turn and left turn. And if you let go and then thrusted forward again, you got the boost. That would be cool if they could find a way to update that for the 64 controllers.
You could play GoldenEye with two controllers.
What?
Yes, you can play with two sticks.
You can twin stick it. Really?
Yeah. Yes.
Oh,
I didn't know that.
Part of my problem is my second N64 controller was aftermarket Mad Cats, and it was like
no.
it was my
that's the friend
it was
controller.
the punishment controller for my friends. So yeah.
You know how Nintendo's
gray-
gonna screw me over because they're gonna show us
They're
gonna
gonna do
show these
colors
gray
here a little
ones
bit.
and then all six colors are gonna come out and be like,
I had
Oh, yeah.
gray, blue, and yellow.
I had gray, and then I had like a purple Mad Cats, and then at one point that broke, and I got a green one, and it was I don't remember if it was Mad Cats, but it was the one that didn't have the it was like a deep V, and then it didn't have the other
the handles on the
didn't have the
sides were
handles?
not there.
Yeah, you guys remember that one?
Yeah, my uncle had it. Was like a
Yeah,
almost like an was it Interplay or like
I don't remember. It was green and terrible.
Wasn't there an official gold Nintendo one?
The 64 controller? I
think so.
I want to say yes, but I think it might have been tied to a contest or something.
Maybe. And then the translucents were only tied to the console, right?
No, Toys R Us. I have them. I have there was one exclusive Toys R Us controller that's like a neon yellow. And I had to have this was my 64 collecting got insane. I sold my parents the green clear one, but kept the controller, and then bought the ice blue, and have since obtained like the atomic purple, I think, but or maybe it was called grape because the atomic purple came packaged with the 64 later on, and I had to trade a friend.
Grape sounds right.
I had to trade a friend for the atomic purple one that was like packaged. It was like get a second controller with the console, and that was that was like a lighter purple. It was a lighter purple color.
I mean, if Nintendo's paying any kind of attention to what Microsoft's doing, Microsoft sold me on two controllers that I don't need. With the Forza one has some translucent stuff coming out here in the next month, and then the 20th anniversary Xbox controller has translucent front faceplate on it with like neon green grips on the back. So everyone's a sucker for the 90s stuff again. Like, bring it back.
Yeah,
Apple's gonna do it here pretty soon, right? They gotta bring back the colored IMAX,
the giant monitors. We put an OLED inside this fat monitor.
Why not? Why not? It looks cool. I would honestly, side tangent. I would love to have a retro fitted with Bluetooth old original iPod with the scrolly wheel. I think it'd be cool. Yeah. Oh yeah.
There was one person that used to listen to NPC on a Zune.
On a Zune. It was Star-Lord.
I do remember. I had a Zune. I think you were the one who like beat me into submission into buying a Zune.
Me?
Mm-hmm.
Oh boy.
Because you were very pro Microsoft and Xbox in that time, and
I
admittedly,
never bought one. I was just like, test this out. Is
Yeah.
it good?
Maybe the sound quality was pretty superb. It just wasn't as well received.
Didn't last.
The biggest problem is the Zune Marketplace sucked and it never replicated what iTunes was. So anyhow,
Nate says just wait for Design Lab for the Elite 3. No. That'll my wallet. But if Nintendo, like, on the 64's anniversary, they're like, oh hey, here's 6 new controllers, all the clear plastic, or 8 new controllers, because I think that's really what they could do. Be game over. Be like, do I buy more OLEDs or do I just buy controllers?
Well, and same thing with like the Pro controller. How they've not, like, the aftermarket faceplates and custom Etsy shop stuff that people have done with GameCube controller schemes on Pro controllers, NES themes on Pro controllers, Joy-Con. Like, there's so much stuff that Nintendo's just leaving on the table.
Well, and here's the here's I'm like, I'll buy a shell, but if it doesn't say Nintendo on it because it's etched into the 64 controller, and I have a feeling they can't sell it if it has that brand, that logo on it, I can't do it. I will refuse to have, like, even if it's the right color, if it doesn't say Nintendo.
Makes it a Mad Catz controller, man.
I can't do it. I might as well. Here, somebody's ripping MPC to vinyl.
There you go. There you go.
All right. Well, hey, we hit the 1 hour mark.
Remarkable.
We pressed play on Press Pause. We talked about video games, mostly Nintendo games, but that's not going to be the case. Nintendo's just in the news right now, so.
I'm just excited about the OLED and Dread. So, next week we'll bring something different. But speaking of which, next week we're going to be back, ladies and gentlemen. We are back.
This is going to happen once a week. I can't believe it. I cannot believe it.
At least for a little while.
I'm excited. We're doing this live. Is it going to be the same time every 8 p.m. on Wednesdays? Is that?
I think
that works.
That works. Yeah.
Okay.
That works.
8 p.m. on Wednesdays. That's
Pacific Standard.
Pacific Standard Time.
Yeah.
Come hang out and make sure to tell all your friends, because we're starting on brand new baby channel here, so we need all the help we can get.
We like
come
friends.
Talk to Eric in the Discord.
Yeah. Come into Maine, say something.
n64josh.com/Discord. All right, here we go. Outro.
What do you need to promote, Josh? What's coming up in like a week and a half or whatever?
Smash Bros tournament.
Yeah, we're doing it at the very end again.
Yeah, it's already done. They've already gone. But yeah, n64josh.com/smash coming out in the tournament. And that's it. Ending graphics. Boom.